Hello, and welcome to another Hero Arts video. Jessica Frost Ballas here, and today I'm so excited to introduce you to our new Hero Hues Reactive Inks. You may have tried similar mini ink cubes included in some of our past My Monthly Hero kits, but now we're releasing full-size ink pads in 15 bright and vibrant colors. Our creative team will be sharing projects using these inks in the future, but I'm going to take a few minutes to introduce you to some of the amazing ways these inks react with water. To start, I've swatched the reactive inks on Dove White cardstock and Pitch Black cardstock for our Sea Salt ink. This cute panda is a stamp from the 2019 summer release. These hybrid inks are acid-free, archival, and fade-resistant. And just look how vibrant they are and how easily they stamp. I used an acrylic block to stamp these swatches, and you can see that the ink stamps smoothly and crisply the first time. These reactive inks blend like butter on cardstock and are perfect for creating blended backgrounds. Here I'm using Fruit Punch, Creamsicle, and Lemon Drop reactive inks to create an ombre background. Under my lighting, the Lemon Drop ink looks a tiny bit green, but in person it's a gorgeous sunny bright yellow. I go back and forth between the colors until I have a smooth blend. Then I briefly heat set it with a heat gun and splatter it with water. I let it dry for a few seconds and then blot off the excess water. The ink reacts with water and almost moves away from the water spots, leaving lighter areas across my panel. Next, I'm sharing how well these inks work for traditional ink smooshing. I press the ink pads to a piece of scrap plastic, spritz them with water, and then press them to my watercolor paper. The ink soaks into the paper, creating a gorgeous watercolor wash. I dry the inks and add more color. The opaque ink layers together beautifully, avoiding any muddy areas, and you can keep adding more and more layers without the worry of it turning into mud. After I finish, I splatter it with even more water to create lighter spots. You can also use these inks for stenciling and embossing. Here I've taped the Starry Night stencil to a piece of white cardstock, and I'm blending on various shades of teal and blue reactive inks. I love that the inks blend on so smoothly that I don't have to apply a lot of pressure and risk moving any part of the stencil. When I'm done blending, I pull the stencil off and heat emboss the ink with clear embossing powder. The ink stays wet long enough to hold the embossing powder without needing to use embossing ink. The reactive inks are a hybrid ink combining the best qualities of dye and pigment inks on a firm ink pad. And speaking of dye and pigment ink properties, these opaque inks stamp beautifully on colored cardstock, and you don't lose any of that vibrant color. Finally, and again I'm sure our creative team will be sharing more examples using all these techniques and more with finished projects soon, but I am especially excited about the watercolor possibilities with these reactive inks. You can smush a little onto a palette and use them just as you would traditional watercolors. Again, they apply smoothly and evenly with incredibly vibrant colors. You can use water to blend them and dilute the colors, and you can also mix the colors for beautiful results. Finally, once the color is dry, you can layer totally contrasting colors on top without any worry of bleeding or muddy mixing. And that's all for now, but I hope this gives you some ideas for our new Hero Hues Reactive Inks, and we look forward to seeing what you'll create with them. Thanks so much for joining us today, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye!